Hi everyone, welcome to Rick's 1/35 scale models. My name is Rick. Today I'm going to be looking at a new kit that I just received yesterday and I'm really excited about it. That would be Reifield's German version of the Leopard 2A6. Now, right up front, amazing kit, awesome. I'm thoroughly impressed with it. Like all models, there's something in there that isn't quite to your standards. For this kit, it has a couple of small issues, nothing at all that can't be addressed and easily corrected. Whereas some of the other kits out on the market, they're horrible, for lack of a better word. This kit, they did a really good job. They did their research, they dug really deep to try and come up with probably what I would say would be, for current market, the best quality Leopard 2A6 out there. So let's dive in and take a look at the kit. So let's look at the instructions. You have your initial box art here, some basic, what you're looking at through the process, and then you dive into a list of all your sprue sheets laid out here with the numbers, lots of parts and lots of little bitty parts too. So diving into the actual thing, it's a colorful set of instructions, which is nice, kind of color coordinated. There are not a lot of options, but there are a few, and you need to think about it before you start building. For example, do you want the torsion bar devices here for the road wheels to function? If you do, you have to remove something. If you don't, then you don't have to remove this part. As you start going through the assembly process, you'll see different parts color coordinated, different things, glue spots kind of highlighted, things like that. They are coming out with a version of this model with a full interior, and I've had some people ask me what I thought. I do believe they're going to come out with it. The reason for that is Reifield's come out with a lot of kits with interiors, so it makes sense that they're going to come out with that for this model, and I think that it'll be very successful. But when you look at this in the building process, there's lots of different components for an interior design, which will kind of teasing a little bit on what we're going to see in the future here. They also color coordinate your PE sheets. They're yellow. This kit is one of the first kits that has a pretty detailed hitch on the back. It still is missing the release lever, but it does have more detail than any of the other kits in prior models. And then the other thing this kit has, which is a first, is the front wheel. This torsion bar actually works. This was the same in the Canadian version of the Leopard they came out with. It's the same concept. First in the modeling for the Leopard to have that feature. The tracks. Now they are the segment tracks. You've got basically 3 pieces you have to glue together. Always a great aspect of quality, but it's kind of a long, involved, tedious process until you get a system down. These are no different, but what I did notice, and you'll see here, they talk about, there's very specific details here about which is the inside, which is the outside, which is the top, which is the bottom. This is a first. I haven't seen this in any other model, and that's a new level of detail, which is nice. Reifield does have an aftermarket release of these same tracks you can buy separately, and then they have a resin set that you can buy, which is fairly pricey, almost as much as the model itself, but I've seen them and they are definitely high quality. Definitely would make your kit really sharp. But this one comes with the plastic ones you have to go through the assembly process to do. Fully functional and all that, but a little bit of time to build. Going through the top portion of the lower hull, all the different details, aspects. A lot of kits have this plate here cast in where they have it separately, so it's a little bit nicer detail there. They also have the guards for the turn signals, and that's something that a lot of kits don't have also. There is a little catch right here on the front of the front fender and they have that catch actually part of the model, where that's another item that you don't generally see on kits. And one of the other things they have is they have the horn, and you don't see that a lot on all the models, and that's another nice feature that they've added, which is a neat thing. Some of the kits are starting to add these different extra parts, the snow and ice cleats, and then spare connectors for the tracks. They have that, and then you've seen this a lot in a lot of models with the rod here that goes in, so that's a nice feature they've included here. They have PE sheets for the vents for the engine here, for the different components, which is some of the other kits have that also. But the first they have is the different access panels for fueling and checking different oil levels and filters and that. They have all those hatches that can be open or closed, which is a nice feature. And they have a massive amount of handles, where pretty much no other model has the handles for all these. There's just a piece of cast plastic that isn't really accurate. If you look closely, it's just a solid piece, not an actual handle a person could grab. Continuing on through here, the next thing that they have a level of detail on, which is new, is they have padlocks. Now all these access points do have padlocks, and they have that. That's a nice new feature. And they have the windshield wipers for the driver's periscope, which is another new feature you generally don't see in kits. That's a nice new feature here. Going through all these different parts, lots of detail, PE sheets and stuff to make a very delicate, fine, high quality kit. You kind of get an idea here looking on the inside, some of the parts. If you look at the actual vehicle, a lot of this looks real similar. All these hatches are openable, which is a neat feature. If you're building a model with a full interior, you could have open access points. Going through here, you have the option to have your side skirts in the totally flipped up way to access the tracks, or you can have it in the version for transportation, or completely down in the normal position for work. You also have your rear view mirrors. It can be up or down. Lots of detail here. A lot of other models, this is just one or two pieces. This has quite a few components put together to create a really high quality look. And as I mentioned, you have these locking hinges here for the rear catches for the tow cables. That's a new thing you haven't seen in any other Leopard kits. Real good quality there. Another thing that they've done first that actually looks really sharp is you have your marker little whip antenna in the back for backing up and alignment that is next to the driver's rear view camera. That's a neat feature. Now, this kit has an accurate commander's scope. You have all the armor plating it has. It's PE sheets, so it's spaced like the real one. It really is accurate. On top of that, they have the windshield wipers that go inside here. That's something new to see. Inside of this, they also have the features with all the reflective mirroring that it has inside. They have all those internal parts. So when you're building this, you actually can have you take the time to paint all this. When you look through the thing, although it may be hard to see, you still have this level of detail that is just superb. Very, very, very neat quality there. Something new and unique. The commander's hatch has the standard rod system here that it goes up and then turns and then drops back down, where the loader's hatch flips up and over, and that's a neat feature. Going through the main gun, you have all the different panels, the sighting system. They have glass in here for the sighting, which is accurate. You also have your transition devices here for the turret to traverse. The barrel does move in this kit. You have all these different aspects. The next thing that is another new and highly detailed feature is the gunner's sighting system. Now, first of all, you have doors that open or close on it, which isn't totally new. The other kits have had that, but you have that same mirror set up inside for the sighting system, so that when you look through the glass, you can actually see the detail inside. So it involves quite a bit of painting and detail work, but it's really high quality. And they have the windshield wiper here. They also have all these extra PE sheets for the added details. A lot of the kits don't have any of that. They just have a smooth piece of plastic. So that's a new level of detail, which is unique to this ride field kit. This is also some of the other things I was talking about, the level of detail. These different ports and maintenance and access points are really nice and new. Now, one of the things on this kit, which I'm not sure what this is, I've been researching and I haven't figured it out, I haven't found any pictures or descriptions of it, is they have this plate, which if you're going to have the side armor skirting open, you can put this plate on there. I have no idea what this is. I haven't seen it. All the pictures I've looked at, I don't know what it is. Anybody who knows, please let me know. I've been researching and trying to figure it out, and I'm at a loss. But they do have that you put in there as one of the extra detail parts. Also, if you wanted to have the armor plating on the front or sides on or off, you have that ability, because they have all the mounting systems real accurate, all the internal parts really well detailed. They have the tool bags that go on the insides of the side skirting that flips open, which is some of the other kits have that, but it's a really nice feature going through those different details. All these parts are real small and delicate, fairly accurate to scale, real sharp. The instructions are pretty good laid out on how they want you to build this. You have a couple options on the communications cable that is on the back of the vehicle. You can either have it inside this box area, which is common, or you can have it on the outside, which they show here on the outside hanging, which is also very common. The other thing this kit does, which is a first, which is another high level of detail, is they have these extra ice cleats down in the bottom of this bin, which no other kit has. You look at all the other models, it's just a flat, smooth piece of plastic. This one, they actually have the detail in there, which is another nice quality. There's no cable on this, so you'd have to add that yourself, but you can do that compact. And one of the things I did mention for the your white phosphorus smoke launchers here, there's a chain that connects this rubber top to the housing, so that when it launches you don't lose the cap. Well, they don't have that within the kit. It's something you can either use that extra PE sheet kit for, or you can make your own. But that would be the only detail level that they didn't put in here. Lots of other details, but that's one thing they didn't do. Now, this kit is another first. You have all these storage boxes in the back, can be either open or close. They have hinges, and there's different things there. They're built within the actual vehicle. They give you the option to do either. You can have, for example, the box back. Continuing on here, you can see all these different components here. Here's how this hinge is open and closed depending on what you're doing. And then the baskets are PE sheets. A couple other kits have that way. That's a lot easier to install. It makes a really nice finished model when done. Now, the MG machine gun on the for the anti-aircraft on the loader side, that's another highly detailed part where they've added some PE sheets and other levels of detail which a lot of kits don't have. Really good clarity there, real good high quality. They have a 3D resin printed front sight and muzzle on the main gun, which is nice. And then the along the barrel, this part of the barrel is fiberglass, and they actually have all the fiberglass texture on it, where a lot of kits it's smooth. Well, in reality it has this fiberglass woven pattern on it, which is another neat detail. They did a good job there. That is the overall build. Now you do have some options. If you want the barrel in the travel position on the back, you can put in this device that holds the barrel in place when they're traveling, or you can have it in the folded down, which is where most models have it. This is something new that no other kit has. You don't have options, you need one or the other, but you do have that option. Then the next page is your paint schemes. Now, as I did say, these paint schemes aren't correct. They're close, but if you start looking in close detail, they're off. One of the things about the German military is they're very specific on their paint scheme. Every vehicle looks the same, so that it's hard to tell how many vehicles. If you're counting numbers of vehicles, they all look the same, so you can't go, well, that has a different paint pattern and things like that. But they do give you an idea here. You have 2 different units listed here. There are multiple other decals in the decal set, so you have other options, but these are the 2 that they show, that being the first tank of the 1st Platoon, 4th Company, 93rd Armored Demonstration Battalion, and or you have the 3rd Company, 104th Armored Battalion, Panzer Brigade, 1210, 10th Panzer Division. So the last thing that I need to mention, this kit, this is all new. You have on your smoke launchers, there's a number on the actual real vehicle. Well, they have the decal for that. That is a new feature that you haven't seen. They also have in German, and the Canadian version it's in English, but in the German version they have your different access panels, what they are, and they have the language that goes on them on the real vehicles. That's another really neat feature, that it's subtle, but anybody who is really into these vehicles is going to notice those types of things. So really good job on that part. Diving into the sprue sheets, you're going to have part of the turret here. Here's the ring around the base of the turret for its transition. You have the simulator here that you can add or not add on the vehicle. Here's the underside of the turret. You can see the alcove for the driver's head to pop up. One of the neat things about this kit, and you see it sometimes but not that much, they have all the welds here, and they're a really nice quality weld. On top of that, they have all the bolt systems with the guards around the bolts to protect them from transitioning. Really nice detail level here. It's one of those things you're not going to really see, but the fact that it's there shows the level of care they've gone into. You have the front protectors for the front of the turret here. They have the non-skidding material. It looks really good on it. All the nuts and bolts are very accurate. The count looks correct. Here's some of the hatch for the back storage rack on top of the blow-off hatch over the ammunition. Has all the bolts. They've also added some of the parts on this that a lot of models don't put, such as this area right here, and then the part of the side skirt protection here is this part. This will be part of the lower hull. You can see your front fenders. These are fairly thin. Not too bad, very good quality. Here's that little connection point on the side that you don't see in most models. Some of the dampeners here, tools are very delicate and small. Then you have your rear plate for the lower hull. You have the engine covers, and this is what I had mentioned. They have all these access points are actual hatches. So in a kit that you're doing with a full interior, or let's say you're doing a diorama where they're fueling it or inspecting it, you have the ability to create all these features, which is a really nice quality. The side skirting has all the bolts appropriately. These are pretty thin and delicate. They're not a real thick item on the vehicle as it is, and most models, these steps here are too thick. These are really thin and they look very accurate. Really good job there they've done. And then part of your side protection skirts. It also, which you've seen in a few models but not that often, for the Follow Me placard that goes on the back of all German vehicles especially, but a lot of European vehicles, they have a design where you put a PE sheet here on either side for the bar that isn't attached, where a lot of models just have a solid piece of plastic, which it looks okay, but it definitely looks nicer this way. Very good job. Lots of small pieces here. You've got your the two options for the gun barrel to be secured or unsecured, different tools, some of the hatches. You can see the holes here. This is so you can put the handle on for these different points. Really nice feature. The hose that goes on the back of all Leopard tanks here looks the correct size and gauge. It also has a little bit of a texture on the inside here, which is nice and accurate. You have the grill that goes on the inside of the hatch, and that would be something if you're building a vehicle with an interior, you're having it open with an engine in there. That's a neat feature there they've incorporated for the future when the vehicle actually has the interior. That'll be a really neat thing to see. Different parts here, your covers that go on the back of the lower hull, and then your headlights, really good detail there. Here's your lower hull. You're going to see all the details underneath here. You have this where the drive sprocket goes. You have all the bolt points in the hole, so if you had this off, it looks really accurate. I just had this sprue piece to remove. All these are really crisp detail. You have all your weld lines done really nicely. The underside, same thing. You got your engine tie down points here. You've got some drain plugs that are in there, and then you have these 3 extra pieces they added to add stability to this rear end, and they also have the welds that it has on it done really nicely, along with all these welds here, and then your escape hatch under the driver's seat here. Looking on the inside of this, there is a little bit of cleanup you'd have to do, but you can see the inside details, which are really accurate looking for the actual vehicle. That would be part of the full interior version. You can see some weld lines and different aspects for that future. Parts of the turret, your commander's sight system, really good detail there on that aspect. Your cable for communications, you can see here the more of the commander sighting system with the projection device and the sensors that are facing upward in the actual vehicle, and then you're going to have your mirror above that at a 45-degree angle. These are all things that, when you get in there and do detail and painting, it'll be hard to see, but if you do it correctly, it'll be just an amazing detail. And then this would be for the drivers, the gunner's sight here, same thing. It faces upward, and then there's a 45-degree mirror facing forward, so that if you actually were to take some kind of damage in these sights, the sights are going to survive. You can see part of your basket system, the commander's hatch here. This is smooth, which is how it is on the actual vehicle. There's no non-skid plating on that. Your hatches have the non-skid, which is correct. The MG machine gun is a really good detail, high quality. It actually has the hole drilled out for the barrel. It's kind of hard to see, but it's in there. The only thing that they missed here is on the back side of the sighting system for the commander, there is some writing on the back of that. That's not here. But other than that, this looks really accurate and very well detailed. You're going to have your barrel, different components for the turret, boxes, a little bit of flashing here on some of these parts on the edges, nothing too hard to get off, but really good quality You've got parts here of your the hatch that goes behind the commander that they can put the MG machine gun for the air defense system, and the one that goes next to the barrel go inside this lock box here. You actually have the hatch there, which is a really nice quality. Parts of the protection system, the breech system, things like that. The non-skid on some of these parts looks really nice. The tool bags that go underneath these two plates are both done a lot nicer than some of the other kits I've seen them on. And then your front sight system for the gunner here is a very delicate part, where a lot of kits it's a little thicker, so they did a real good job there. And then you can see here the fiberglass texturing here on this going crossways back and forth, which is very accurate. You're going to have two of these sprues. You're going to have all your road wheels, your drive wheels, your return wheels, the top wheels for the returning, the handles on the sides of the turret. A lot of models, these are a lot thicker. These are really thin, really accurate sizing. Probably the best accuracy I've seen yet in a model. You have your springs here for your road wheels suspension system, along with all your white phosphorus smoke discharge launchers. These are also going to be one of the nicest detailed ones I've seen yet in the model. Really good quality, really nicely done. The tools are delicate and look to scale. These lift rings that go on the turret, a lot of models I've seen those really too large. These are a lot more accurate looking. They look to scale. Did a good job there. The road wheels, one of the things that I noticed is most of them look like this. They actually have the writing on the inside of the road wheel that the actual ones have. A lot of 3D resin printer folks are starting to do things like that, but I haven't seen it in a model yet until now, and very good touch. On top of that, they have some of the details here. These are details that are going to be on the inside of the model. You're never going to see it unless you pick it up and look underneath, but they have these devices inside to, when you're tightening the lug nuts down for the road wheels, to keep it from spinning. Well, they have all those parts in there, so really nice touch there. One of those things, and like I said, you're not going to know it's there when you look at it, but in building it, you'll know, and that's the important part. So good job. Now you're going to have 3 of these PE sheets, which is, you're going to have 3 of these sheets, which is for your tracks. There are quite a few extra links for errors and stuff. These track pieces for the connections have an inside and an out and a top and a bottom, so they have to be put in a specific way. It's a good job they've done there. You have your ice cleats here. You have the ability to add that on if you want. All these are very delicate and thin. They look to scale. Definitely a good job there. Not too hard to put together. Looking at the lower top portion of the hull, you can see you have your different access points and parts here with the hatches removed. Here's where these hatches can be open or closed. On the sides, the same thing. And then on this side, you have those points. You have the driver's hatch, the side periscope, along with all these different points and that are done really nicely. The non-skid plating that they have here, it looks correct and accurate. They've done a real good job, along with back here. Also really nice. The fender portions here are thin. They have all this on the sides, which is a really good job, along with these different connection points. Very delicate, high quality job they've done here. So looking at the turret, you can see all the details here. All the weld lines, the non-skid plating is all done correctly. They even have the what I believe to be the serial number engraved here, and then here there's some other numbering and markers. all the welds on the side for the old loading port is all done really nicely. The welds on the turret are really high quality, good job, along with all the bolts here. And this blowout patch panel here is done nicely where the ammunition is stored behind the loader, along with all the storage boxes. Amazing work. So here you're looking at 3 separate bags. You're going to have your rubberized plastic grommets that go inside the road wheels and part of the turret so that it can move. You're going to have the rear fender mud flaps here, and they're in that softer, rubberized type plastic. You're going to have your clear plastic sheets here. It's all really good quality casting. They've done it nice. Your different mirrors, different devices, headlights, sighting system, plastic, things like that, really good. You have your turn signals in clear plastic here, so that when you go and do your painting process, you make them the amber yellow color. They'll come out nicely. You also have your resin bore front of your barrel with the sighting calibration here, and then you have your extra parts for the tracks that go on the upper fenders here, which are a really nice high quality casting, really good quality. Looking at the PE sheet, this is very delicate thin metal, really nice. You're going to have your baskets here, parts of the rear insulation and panels here, different little locking portions for the tools, some small rings here, not sure where they go yet until you know the kit. Your commander's scope here, you have the side protective armor plating that goes here, here, and here. Really nice new aspect. On top of that, you have these padlocks. These are parts of your engine components, and then you have all of these different hatch handles here. Lots of delicate parts. This was part of that hatch that opens for tools and supplies here. The pin is in the middle here, and it slides up and down, and then you can lock it by turning it. On top of these parts here that you can see on some of the other Leopard kits. There's also some different components here, all high quality things to really add a lot to the model itself. Really nice, and like I said, very delicate PE sheet, not a lot of bending, but a lot of parts to attach. You're going to have this small bag, which is going to have a piece of wire, which is for the small little marker antenna on the back above the rear view camera for the driver, and then your tow cable here, which is this piece of string. Would have preferred like braided wire, but this isn't too bad if you go about the right process of using it. Lastly, you're going to have your decals. Now, you can see you have your German markings. You have 1, 2, 3 different license plate options, along with for unit markers, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 separate markers for units. Then you have all the insignias that go on the engine deck area, here, and then here, here, and through here. You also have the mire on the side for the commander of the vehicle marking for this specific model, if you're building that one there. And then one of the things I've already mentioned was on all the smoke discharges, you have all of your numbers for all those, which is something unique to models I haven't seen in anybody else. The interesting thing, and I've gotten a few Rye-Field kits, so they do it often, is somehow or another you get 2 sets of decals. So I got 2 sets here, which is always a nice little extra. I think it's just they stick together, but one of their aspects, I've gotten several kits, and about half the time I have extra decals. So just a side note there. So that's the kit. Outstanding, awesome kit, very high details, lots of little qualifications and things to make it just amazing. A lot of the parts they add in there right out of the box are things you'd have to buy aftermarket products to get. So you're definitely getting a lot for your money. When it comes to the cost of this kit, it is pretty much the same price as a Tamiya Leopard 2A6 and the Borders Leopard 2A6. The disadvantage to this kit is you're only going to be able to build one version, which would be this 2A6, which is right after they did some refitting of the vehicle. So you're going to have some extra parts on that they did in the last refit. Some of the other modifications they did to the internal parts and different parts it doesn't have, but those are things you can easily modify yourself. Where if you buy the Border kit, you're going to get the option of building the 2A5 or several different versions of the 2A6 depending on which era you're looking for. The Tamiya kit is an older version of the 2A6, and it doesn't have the level of quality this has, but it does go together really nicely and straightforward. Going through this kit, I took my Tankograd books and went through and really compared pictures and researched the detail, and they did an amazing job. I can't find errors where they did things wrong in this kit. There's subtle details that they added that nobody else does, things that unless you actually know the vehicle you're not going to notice. Most of them you need a magnifying glass to see, but they took the time to do it, and I give a lot of respect to that. It's definitely, like I said before, the nicest Leopard model out there currently. Ming does a great job. They don't have a 2A6, but there are levels of detail on this that Ming doesn't even touch. So definitely, I mean, I can't say it enough. It's worth the money. It's a very affordable kit. You get a lot for your money. I would have easily spent, you know, $20 more for this kit than I got it for. It's worth it. So highly recommended. Great kit, amazing. It's going to be fun to build. So that's my review. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care. Please like, subscribe. Questions, comments, always welcome. Get me on Facebook. Email me. More videos coming soon. Builds, reviews, projects I'm working on. Look forward to hearing from everybody. Take care and happy modeling. Bye-bye.